Good morning, everyone. And today we are going to start with our last class of the Photoshop Essentials. And today's class is pretty interesting because it is all about the 3D feature inside the Photoshop. So we'll go through the basic features of the 3D feature inside Photoshop. So we'll not dig deep into it because there are a lot of advanced features inside Photoshop also, so that you can cover on your own later on, because once you know all the basics, you will be able to work on the other parts which are the most more advanced part. So that's pretty much it. So when once I hope you will be finished with this basic parts, automatically after a few tries on by yourself, you will be able to work on the advanced stuff. You just need the practice. That's all what it's about. So let's get started. So right now, as you know, let's go here. We have this workspace in Photoshop on the top that says Essentials. Okay. And there are Essentials and there are Essentials version 2. Essentials basically the Photoshop basics. Essential version 2, it's the 2021 version, which is the version 2. So I'm using the version 2 right now here. Now to go to 3D workspace, there is a 3D option. Once you will click on it, so you will see a little bit changes over here. You will see there is a 3D option here. There is the channel option, layer option as usual that you get, but there is an additional 3D option here. So, and there are some 3D options on the top as well. So that's what you will get when you will move to the 3D view. But directly we will not jump into here. We will just go back to our Essentials version 2. And from here, we will jump to the 3D part. Now, how we will do the 3D part here is, as you know, on the top, we are done with the filters. Now you have 3D option here. So we will go to the 3D option. And once you will go to the 3D option, you will see there is a new 3D layer from a file. So if you have any external file, you can turn that into 3D and bring it here. But that's not we are going to do. Then we have merge 3D, export 3D. We will learn about this in a bit. And then we have spherical and like panorama. So you can have these panorama files here, and that you will see later on. Now, the one thing that I need you to focus on is the new 3D extrusion from selected layer. So this, and we have the new mesh from the layer. So we will see these right now. Now, there is a postcard here, which we'll see later on. But after that, we have mesh preset. In the mesh preset, we have different meshes. Now, what are meshes? Meshes are basically 3D object. A 3D object is also known as a mesh. So here we have cone mesh, cube wrap, cube, and a lot of different kind of meshes here. So let's go to the cube and see what happens if we go to the cube. Other than that, let's talk about the part. We have plane, two-sided extrusion, and like these are the different depth map. But that you can also get later on once you have selected your mesh preset. Depth map is that how you want your mesh to be act as a 3D. So we will just go to mesh preset and we will choose cube over here. So once I will go to the cube, and then it will ask me, are you about to create a you are about to create a 3D layer? Would you like to switch to a 3D workspace? Yes, I want to shift, so I will press yes. So once I'm done with this, so you can see something like this on the screen. Now, what is this? This is basically my 3D cube. It looks like a 2D because it's showing us the front view of it. Okay. And here is that cube. And around in this gray area, this is my environment. Now, right now, I can click on anywhere on the environment and I can move around. Okay. Or I can take like here is my 3D environment options. I have this. If I click on it, I can rotate on my 3D option just like this. You can see that I'm able to rotate it. Then I have this, the one that I was using before. I can tilt, okay, left or right. The environment will go just like this. So left or right, you can tilt, okay. And if you want to go slower, that's so you can go up or down, but usually it works left to right. Then we have this is panning tool. So if I click on it, I can pan around, just move the camera. Okay, so this is the 3D view, and we are working on the camera right now, not on the object. Object is on its own place. The object is not moving. What is moving here? Our environment, our camera view is moving. Now this is slide, means like it will slide back and forth, okay, or left or right. So if you go up or down, so it will slide back and forth. If you go left or right, so it will slide back and like back and forward. Okay, so this is basically the slide. Here is the perspective of the like the focal length of the camera. So if I will click on this one, so what will happen is that I can zoom back and forth here. Okay, like zoom in and out. So this is basically our camera zoom. Now, suppose you have messed around and now you don't know how to go back to where it was. Here we have our 3D options, and here is our viewport option. If I will right click here, I have different kind of options here, and the first option is default. If I click on the default, it will go back to where I was before. Now, other thing I have here is the left view. It will show me the left view of the cube, right view of the cube, top view of the cube, okay, bottom of the cube, back of the cube, and front of the cube, and all these of the options. Okay, so this is showing asking me to create a vanishing point, define. So I can create a vanishing point. That what it will do is that the one that we studied last time, I can create a sort of a vanishing point, and according to that vanishing point, it will generate a viewport for me. Okay, so just it used that vanishing point and created a viewport for me. Okay, but I'll go to the default. Now this default one here is basically known as perspective view because it looks more like a 3D. Okay, if I go here and rotate around, well, it more looks like a 3D, right? And the other ones that we have here, left, right, top, bottom, back, front, these are known as orthographic, which means it's like a 2D. It's like a flat surface, or like surface, just like this. Okay, so that's what we have here. Now let's do one thing here. Let's go to our layers here and make a new layer and delete this one for now. Okay. And let's make a new file here, so we don't have to go there. So now what I will do here is that I will make a new layer, and then I will create a text. I will write a text here. Okay. And I can write PS for Photoshop, and then bigger. That. Okay. Now what I will do here is that I will go to my 3D option, and now instead of new mesh, I will go to new 3D extrusion from selected layer. If I will click over here, what it will do is that it will convert my layer, which is the Photoshop layer, and convert this into a 3D layer. Now, if you will notice in the 3D layer, I have this 3D option, and I can see that the whole thing is converted into 3D layer, and I have all these stuff here as well. I can move around. Oops. Okay, and you can see it's all 3D. Okay, So we are done with this part. We are done with this. Now let's move here and see what do we have here. Now the first thing that we have here is the 3D layers, and then we have the layers. So layers are a little different. 3D layers are a little different. In 3D layers, we have the first thing, environment. So if I will click on the environment, you can see that it will show me the environment, colors, and all the properties here. Right now, this is called IBL. IBL means image based lighting. So if I click over here, so it will show me what kind of environment I'm using here, like which sort of a light image based light system I'm using. It's a little small here, but if you will notice, there are different lights on the top, different lights on the bottom. I can change the environment color also. Okay, like I can make it lighter, brighter, or whatever, and you can see that how it looks like. So I can change this one to whatever I want. Like I can go to replace texture. Okay, and then I can choose any IBL of, or like like light here or something just like that. So I have different options here. Okay, and for example, if you want your own, so what you can do is that you can go to hdriheaven.com. HDRI Heaven is basically a free website from where you can get some image-based lighting system. So I'm not sure why it's working. Yeah. Okay. So there are different light setups here. Like suppose I have here. Okay. And you can see like it's an indoor lighting. If I will choose this, it will give me an indoor light setup. Okay, so I can choose any size of it. Let's choose a small one. Okay, and I can save it anywhere, maybe on the desktop. Okay. And then I can bring it here and I can use that part here. Okay, and I'm not sure if it if I can select that, if it have that option here. Okay, now you can see that I have loaded and it is showing me that environment here. So just if I will if you will notice that I have this like color option. Okay, I can increase or decrease the color of that environment, like more visible or less visible. Like it's like an intensity of the color. Then shadow. Okay, and the shadow color and everything is there. Basically, I can use 100 here, a little bit higher. Here you can see how it is showing. So maybe I will just type here 100. That's all, because 100% means like actual like color. Okay, so I have the environment now set up. So you can choose anyone from there. Then we have scene like setup. So if I will go to scene setup, you can see that we have here different sort of scene environment here, like surface, what kind of surface you want. Do you want and you have like different kind of like presets here. Okay, so I can use sketch grass, so it will give me a sketch grass presets on it and those kind of things, but I'll use default here. Okay, so different kind of like settings you can use here, and try that. I don't want to go in deep into it because I usually don't change this one. I don't play with this a lot. Then the current view is the one that will allow you to move your camera options and use all these, the one that we were using before. After this, we have infinite light. Now infinite light is what, if I click on the infinite light, now I'm in the infinite light mode. So now if I will use any one of these tools, it will not change my current view, it will change my infinite light. So if I will move around, okay, here, so you can see the light itself is changing, not the view itself. Okay, after that we have infinite light. You can create some more lights, you can add another light, new infinite light or new point light, totally up to you. So if I click on new point light, I'll get a point light option, new point light. So I can now move the point light here. Okay, so I can go move the lights wherever I want. Just notice that there is a shadow behind under, and that shadow is changing as well if I'm moving this. And then you can rotate this light and other stuff you can do with this. And if you don't want the light, simple, just click on this delete button and that light will be gone. So we want to keep it as it is. After the infinite light, we have the PS, the our text here. So once you will do that, this is the main thing that you want to change, and you will be maybe interested in this part only. So here we have different options. First is our mesh, then we have deform, then we have cap, coordinates. So let's see in the mesh what we have. In the mesh we have cast shadows, means like it will produce shadows. So that's what we want to create shadows. So I can keep this shadow thing pressed, and like we will keep it selected. So just see, if I will uncheck it, the shadows are gone. Now catch shadows, this one means like it will catch the shadows from other objects. Like maybe I have 2 or 3 other 3D objects, so those will produce shadows as well, and those shadows will be dropped on my 3D object. So yes, I want to do that, so it will look more realistic, so I will keep it checked. Otherwise, if you don't want any shadows to be like caught by your 3D object, so you can uncheck it. Now 3D shape presets, so we have different sort of presets here. You have how you want it to extrude as a 3D object. So you have a lot of different interesting ways. I want, like, suppose this way, if you can select, or maybe this, or maybe this, okay, or maybe a little bit beveled, means like there will be a little like bevel stuff going on in the front, or more like roundish. So you can choose any one of these. So maybe I will choose this one to make it look like puffy sort of thing. Okay, then extrusion. Extrusion is what? The thickness of your 3D mesh. So I can reduce it, increase it, so it can go anywhere, just like that. Now text color is black right now, we can change that. However, if you don't want to change the whole color of the text, you want the front to be different, sides to be different, then we can go at this point where we have these other option. So like before going into these, let's go to this part here, which is the deform. So if I will go to the deform part, so it will give me an extrusion depth option first. So you can see the extrusion, how it is doing. I can twist it, so it can twist from the back. Just notice the top view, what it is showing. I can taper it, make this bigger or smaller, okay, or do more like different sort of changes here, okay, down, depth, up. So I can make like whatever I want to do that now. Totally up to you. You can change from here, or you can change from this viewport. You can change from here, twisting, taper, and then you can do bending up or down. Okay, so I'll undo that because I don't want to mess with this. Okay, and next we have here is the cap. Now cap is basically about the front part, is like basically that is known as the cap. Now how you have the cap options, you have back cap, front and back, or only front. So I will choose only front, and I can work with that. Like I can deform it, make it flatter, or softer. I can make it angled, left or right, or whatever changes I want to do that. Then next I have the coordinates. Now coordinates here, just like I mentioned, if you will select anything from here, you will be able to move that from here. Like suppose now I'm not in the environment. So if I will do any changes here and move around, so my environment will not move. My text itself is moving. Now you can see environment is still, but the text is moving. Okay, so I can do that. So I can rotate it in this way also. Okay, or I can move just like this also. So whatever is selected here inside this layered option, you can manipulate that from this 3D mode. Now you can do a manual kind of manipulation, and from the manual manipulation you have this option here. Now this is for moving, this is for angle, rotation, and this is for the like focal point, or you can say scale dimension, like a scaling, like making it bigger or smaller or something like that. Now in the position, if I go here, I have these sliders. Okay, now show 3D dimensional canvas. If I click on it, it will show me the dimension over here as well. So it's totally up to you if you want to show that. Otherwise, click no. Now I can drag this. It can remove X or left or right, or up or down, back and forth, or you can reset this one. Okay, now if I will reset this, you will notice that it is not on the ground anymore. So if you want to bring it to the ground, you have this option, move to the ground, and it will be moved to the ground. Now reset coordinates will reset all the coordinates here and move to and you can change the way you want it later on. Plus here I can rotate it, okay, the way I want it, or just like this, okay. And if I click on move to the ground, so you can see that it will move to the ground just like that. Or if I just uncheck it, move to the ground, it will move to the ground like this. Now if I want to resize this, I can use the resize button here, and we'll try to resize my option here. Okay, that is dimensions. So if I go to scale, so now you can see it can resize my scale, like everything will go together because they all are connected to each other. So I have uniform scaling on, that's why. If I will uncheck the uniform scaling and start scaling this, so you can see that it is it will do the scaling uniformly, or like non-uniformly. So if I will reset it, go back, and then move to the ground, so it will be on the ground, and I'll change back to this uniform scaling. So this is how you can change all these. Now let's go back to the 3D like mesh option here, and let's go down here and let's change some of these. Now PS front installation, like inflation material, if I go here, it is showing me the front inflation, like this part, the dark part here. Okay, now I want to change the color. I can go here, change the color to whatever I want. Okay, or if I cancel this, I have this option here which will show me different other options here. Suppose I can make it look like a glass, okay, or I can make it look like a plastic, or maybe I can make it look like a metal, or a different like material here, like a transparent glass or something. So whatever you want to choose, you have these options here. So maybe plastic, okay, and what color? Maybe I want this to be a yellowish plastic. You can see that this is my color, and it will become that plastic. Now I have here front bevel part. Now bevel is the part which is a little bit softer here. I don't have that here. If I will go back here and add some bevel to it, okay, like choose this one, or something like a better one, maybe this. I think I'll choose this one, or maybe this one. Yeah, so now you can see that if I go to bevel part here, so this black border around it is like a bevel. like a twist, like a 3D depth to it, like a 3D-ish part. So I will turn that into a plastic as well. And now you are able to see that. And now the base color of this bevel, I can choose, I think, the same color from here. And maybe I can make it lighter, or I can make it like, you know, I can choose from here. So like I can go one space back or dark, or I can use any one of these, whichever looks better. Okay. So I think the same will look more natural. So I will just use that. Okay. Then I have here PX extrusion material. This is this extruded part. So I can also make this looks plastic. Color, same color, but maybe I will make it a little darker so that it shows like it's extruded material. Okay. Now there is a PS back bevel. If I will go here, I cannot see the bevel now. So what I can do at this situation is just to go to my current view, then move around and look at the back what is going on. Now I can go back here. So I don't have a back bevel, so it doesn't matter at all, but I have a back inflation. So if I click on it, this will be highlighted. So I can click on this material and choose the same, maybe more darker because it's backside. Okay, so totally up to you, whatever you want to do that. Now I can go back to, or right click here, default, and we'll go back here. Maybe I can rotate a little bit just to see what's in the area. Okay, now here we have a boundary constraint, and then we have internal constraints. So these are about the constraints here, and I don't want you to worry more about this. This is the default camera. So if you want to go back to your default camera, you can just click here, or current viewport. So you can change to whatever you want. So default, it will take you to default. Okay, so default is just like this. So if you will change the default, that means your default will change. So make sure you don't get confused with it. So let's do this sort of thing. Now I have created this like a 3D option, like text over here, and now I want to go back to my normal layers here. So I have everything attached here. I can make a new layer now, and inside the new layer, maybe I can add a background color or something like that. Okay. So okay, I am in the 3D mode right now, so I cannot use anything here. I have to do one thing. I have to go out of the 3D mode, and then I have to try. Okay, and then I will take this 3D bucket tool, put any color there, and then I can move back to my 3D option here. Okay, choose my 3D layer back, go back to 3D option here. Okay, now let's move back to where we were here. And if you will notice that we have this render button. Okay, so if I click on the render option here, so what it will do is that it will start converting your like layer from a 3D view, okay, or a normal 3D object, from a normal 3D object to a realistic 3D, like photorealistic 3D view. So it is rendering. It will take a little time to render depending on your speed of the computer. Now, if your computer speed is not that good, okay, so you can cancel this rendering, because you can see here it shows render progress can be found below, or escape to cancel. So if you want to cancel the rendering, you can press escape on your keyboard, which is the top left button on the keyboard. So you will if you press that, it will be cancelled. And what you can do here is that go to edit, preferences, and then you can go to 3D, And after that, you will get these options here. Now, if your computer is not that of a good quality, if it is a really super high quality, you can increase this threshold, ray tracer threshold to much higher. But if it is not if it is a slow computer, so you can reduce it. So mine is right now set up to 4, so it will not take time to render. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time to render if I increase it up. Okay, so I'll keep it as it is here. I'll press OK here. Okay. Now, one more thing let's talk about is, let's go here in the 3D layer option here. Okay. And let's go to this layer here. Okay. Or maybe you can put an image, or you can put whatever you want here. And then once you are done with this, you can convert this into 3D as well. Like suppose if I will convert this into 3D, okay, like I can go back here, I can go to 3D, and to convert this into a 3D, I will go to new mesh from layer and convert this to a postcard. Okay. So I will not do the extrusion. I will just do a new mesh from a layer to postcard. I will press yes. And now this is converted into a postcard. Now, what does a postcard actually mean? The postcard actually means over here is, if I will go here to this postcard layer, and in the 3D, let's go from 3D layer to this postcard layer. And if I will try to rotate this, you will see a flat surface is rotating. So postcard means a flat surface. Okay. Now, if I will go to my environment here and rotate the environment, okay, so you can see the environment is rotating, but not the 3D like the text. So let's go to default. Okay, so the issue is that both of these layers, okay, my text layer and like my postcard and my text, which is Photoshop here, okay, are both basically not merged. So what I have to do, I have to select both of them with the shift key or control key, then 3D, and then I have this option called merge 3D layers. So now they will be merged together. If I will go to the 3D option now, you can see that I will have my PS, my Photoshop file, and then I have my layer mesh one, which is the postcard. So if I go to the postcard, I can move around the postcard. Okay, and you can see that, and you will notice that something weird is happening here. Okay, now let's undo this and see why this was happening. If I will go to the environment and rotate a bit around in the environment, you will notice that my text here, like my text here is basically rotated a little bit, and it's a little bit forward, and my environment here, like my postcard, this background here, okay, is basically kind of a let's reset this everything, okay, and let's go to the environment around. So now my environment here is basically kind of in between the text. The reason is that because in the 3D space you will have this issue, so you have to decide which should go back, which should go front. So if I will take my 3D mesh, like my layer one, which is the background, let me change the name of this one. Let's change the name of this to the background. Okay. Now what I will do here is that if I will move it down under the text, it will not make any difference. The reason is that because in the 3D viewport, it is not behind my text. So what I need to do, I have to select my background, okay, take my moving tool option, or from here, I can just press like play with my Z axis and I can move it back. Now, if it is going back, you can see that it is changing. Okay, now if I will go back to my environment, right click here, default, So you will see it is moved back. Okay, but at the same time, once it is moved back, you will see it has produced this borders here. The reason is that because if I will rotate just to show you around, the size of it is smaller. So in the real environment, in the real-time environment, if anything goes back or far away, it seems like it is small. Okay, so when you see tall buildings from a far away distance, like they will seem like they are smaller. In reality, they are not smaller, but the reason they look like they are smaller is because they are far away. So that's the main thing. Like that's what is happening here. So let's do some changes here right now. Let's go to my PG layer and let's not move its z-axis too much behind, a little bit here. Okay, and then I can go here, scale this up. Okay, so I have certain point where I cannot exceed that. Okay, so you have to make sure that you are not exceeding that point. Now when you're done, I can go to my 3D viewport or like 3D option here and reset all these here. And instead of moving it to the ground, I can move it up from here. So I can use here or I can use these options here. So I have these all options to use it. So now I can go to environment, right click default, and you can see that here. Now let's do something here. Okay. Now if I will go back and start rendering, so you will see a different sort of a render. Just notice that you have this background, and this background is also a 3D-ish background. It's not a normal background. If it is a normal background, not the way we created, just like what we did before, we went here, made a new layer, and we added a like color to it. So it's not like that anymore. It's now merged inside this, and it is a 3D background. So now it will be affected. Okay, if I will go here, you can see it will catch the shadow, it will cast the shadow also. Okay, so if I will press this render button, okay, so you can click render from here or render from here. So you have any option you want. So I can here, and then it will start rendering. Just notice behind how it is creating a background shadow. Okay, because the catch shadow is on. So if I will, let me undo this rendering, and if I will go back to the background and uncheck the catch shadow and then start rendering, you can see it is rendering, but there is no catch shadow behind, which is not probably what you want usually. Maybe like sometimes, like like better is to make some like catch shadow. And here you can see some dark area because it is on the ground. Like it is penetrating through the ground because I increased the size of it. So I will go back here and move to the ground, so it will look like this. But I will have this issue now. So what I will do, I will go to the environment and move and pan the environment down. Otherwise I will have that issue always, and I will have that black stuff going on down like it was happening before. And I will take my 3D text and move the 3D text a little bit up. Now it will look fine. And make sure you go back to your background and the mesh properties and check the catch shadows again. And now if I will render it, you will notice that it is now producing a nice good result. Okay. So this is how you can make 3D stuff like a basics here. Try explore different other options in the 3D Photoshop. You will get like really nice good results. You can use them in your 3D and environment. Now you can export them to any 3D option like software you want as well. So there is a 3D export option. So if you usually work on your 3D options, so like that's what you will do it. Now, if you will, when you're rendering, you will see these blue lines. I'm not sure if on the screen they are like visible, but these blue lines basically shows the like the rendering process. So whatever is inside this blue lines, this blue marquee, that is going to be rendered, and whatever is outside is already rendered. So this is how your progress, you can like follow the progress of it, like how it is progressing. You can track your like complete the process of the 3D rendering. So this is all about the Photoshop. I hope you have enjoyed the Photoshop course and you have learned a lot from this course, I hope. So watch all the videos that we have gone through before, so you can understand more about, and you can have a good like revision. Okay, so now once your rendering will be done, it will just show you this option. You can go back to your essential like workspace, and then you will have your like more like a 3D complete package here. Okay, and if you will move to the 3D layer, it will show you like it is like it will bring back the 3D option. It will go back to normal. It will be like that. But if you want to convert this into a like a 3D image, or like a normal image instead of a 3D image, so you can right click here and you can convert it into a smart object, because if you will convert this into a smart object, you can always go back and change whenever you want to like change it. Or if you don't want to change it later on, so you can use rasterize 3D. So you have these options. So if I convert this into a smart object, so it is done now in my normal 3D viewport, and I can start working. I can add some more like stuff to it. I can draw lines to it. I can make my design over it. Okay, whatever you want to do with this. And if you want to go back here, just you have to double click on it. Okay, and you are back to the 3D option. You have to just go back to 3D view, and you can start playing around with these options and things anymore. Okay. Okay, so I hope this is clear, and you can go back also after that when you are done. So you can see that once you're done, it's not rendered. So if you will render this, it will render it for you. And when you will move back to your options, like your layer from here, it will be changed. Okay, so that's all for today, and we'll move to the blackboard now. Now, like one thing before leaving, if you want to convert this into a, let's undo this. Okay, if you want to convert this into a rasterized 3D, so if you right click rasterize 3D, it will become now a normal layer. So it's not a 3D layer anymore. It's like a normal image. So that's what you can also do if you don't want to change it later on. So let's move to the blackboard, and that's all for the whole class. Watch all these videos again so that you can get some revision on it when you're working on your other projects, because Photoshop is a very essential primary software when it comes to the graphic design, because and computer graphics, because if you don't know how to work on Photoshop, because there are many other 3D software, you will find many tutorials on my channel about them. So if you don't know Photoshop, so you will not be able to move forward. So that's why Photoshop is one of the primary tools when it comes to computer graphics. So I will end my stream here. Thanks for joining. So we'll move to Blackboard now.